million years ago, something small rose on 2 feet, and the world changed its shape around it. He turned his face toward a stranger horizon, and in that turn, he began to see more than grass. They moved in patterns older than memory. Gather, sharpen, watch, the small laws that kept them alive. With a flake of stone, they rewrote danger into tool, and with tools, they wrote tomorrow. Play was practice. Every stumble taught them the shape of gravity and the limits of their reach. The weather kept its own counsel. Sometimes the sky itself became a hunter, and in the thicket, something watched, not with hunger, but with an unreadable patience. This tribe had a boy, Aaron, whose curiosity pushed his bones toward more than hunger. He reached for higher food, and in reaching discovered the cost of seeing further. At night, their breaths were small fires. The dark kept catalogs of things not yet named. One morning, the earth wrote a different footnote, a print that did not match any foot they knew. They argued in gestures, words not yet formed, fear translated into signs and shared looks. Alone, Aaron listened to the ground. He could hear questions in its soft clay. That night, the grass sang a note they had never learned, a low call that trembled the bones. His feet found a path that was not his clan's, a line written by another gate. The land kept pockets of shadow, pockets that held the language of things left behind. On the stone, shapes that were not animal nor plant hinted at a thought out of time. In water, he saw not only himself, but a shadow that did not belong to any shape he knew. He came back with a weight in his hands, a trouble he could not yet name. They pressed their palms to the sky and invented words for the dark between their breaths. Something larger had brushed past. The world left its wet print upon the grass. A child's strip hung like a map leading to an absent small body. Panic smeared the camp. They lit the dark with frightened hands and went looking for what shadows had taken. In one clearing, the night echoed like a hollow drum, repeating notes that did not belong to any animal. The print had 6 toes, a fingerprint from a being that did not fit their story. He put his hand where no hand should be, and the cold answer of earth touched his skin. The old ones remembered tales of those below, voices swallowed by river stone and time. He lay awake, and the ground's quietness hummed like a secret he could not keep. In the pale light, he found a shard that had no origin in any bone or bark they knew. And on that stone was a sign, tiny and precise, an answer that smelled of tomorrow. They huddled around the only thing that could keep the dark away, fire. The elder spoke of beasts with teeth as long as a man's arm. But Aaron did not fear the beasts. He feared what he could not see. From the valley below came a rhythm, a heartbeat that was not their own. Something inside him moved, not fear, but hunger to know. The jungle whispered secrets that no man had ever heard. Then, a stone that breathed light, carved by something more than hand or claw. Eyes watched him, not of predator, but of something waiting. The jungle woke in fury. Instinct met evolution, a choice between flight or creation. For the first time, flame was not warmth, it was power. The wild bowed, not to strength, but to fire. But something else had seen and left its mark. He walked back to the light and carried the fire within. The elder knew that mark. It was not of man, and yet where the old saw curse, the young saw light. He dreamed of things that did not yet exist, but soon would. Fire spoke, not in words but in memory. History began with a mark. Every beginning is also a rebellion, and innocence repeated what wisdom feared. Then, the jungle stopped breathing. The earth answered the mark. A doorway carved long before any hand. Stories older than stone itself, waiting to be found. It was not beast, not man, but something before both. And in that silence, the past called his name. He had seen something that should never exist. The fire itself remembered, and far beyond the mountains, something ancient had awakened. When the sun rose, it bled through the mist, as if the world remembered a wound. The elder whispered, "The sky has chosen you." But the sky forgets mercy. Some saw a savior, others a curse. In the river's mirror, he saw a face not his own, older, watching. The fire had entered him, and it wanted to speak. It called him again, from where earth met the unknown. And man walked into the unknown, not for survival but for meaning. Stories no one had told, creatures of two worlds, written in stone. The sky answered, not in thunder but in light, and the world remembered the first time it breathed. They walked, not alive, not dead, memories of what came before. The fire spoke again, this time not to frighten but to teach. He saw what would come, cities made of stone and light, and men who forgot their beginning. The weight of tomorrow crushed the first man. In dream, he spoke to the one before all, the fire that became flesh. He was given a choice to forget or to remember. Memory chose him instead, and man woke, no longer the same. They saw light in his eyes and called it God. The elder bowed, for he knew history had changed. Fire no longer feared man, it followed him, and life began to learn from itself. He watched the sky, and it watched back. "We remember," whispered the clouds. Guided by fire, they walked, carrying a secret older than names. Dawn no longer belonged to the earth, it belonged to memory, and thus the first word of man was drawn in silence. Fire dimmed, but the mark remained. Millions of years later, we found it again, and some memories never die.